So welcome back to the channel, out for another video in quite a different area now than I've ever been before. This is an area a fair distance from my house. I've come out on my bike and as you can see behind me, it's extremely autumnal now. A lot of the leaves have gone off the trees, so the whole landscape is now changed. It's a bit of an overcast day, but we've got some sunny spells, out quite early. And I'm in an area of open grassland surrounded by forest. So I'm hoping to see some species today. There's been snow bunting, snow goose, buffleheads, all sorts of other bird species around on the water just to my right. And I'm going to stick to the meadow area here and see what we can find. A lot of the bird species, the warblers, flycatchers, they've all gone. The chill in the air, we're getting frosty mornings, but today is set to be quite a warm day, very unseasonably warm for this time of year, about 20 degrees. Oh, we got a merlin. Got a merlin chasing a pipit of some sort. Unbelievable. 2 merlins. So yeah, we're going to see what we can find this morning, have a really good look round. I'm going to park the bike up, go on foot and then trek around. So I've got a new bit of kit today to show you, a new lens, and I've been dying to try this lens out for a while. And here we have, there we go. There we have the Canon 200-800 f6.3-f9. A bit of a belter of a lens. This isn't my lens, so this has been loaned to me by a good friend and subscriber to the channel, Peter, who's a Canadian chap, lives nearby. He's away in Europe for over a month now. And he didn't want to take the big lump of 200-800 with him, so he said, kindly would I like to borrow it for the time that he's away and give it a good test out. So I'm testing it out today on the R3, hoping put it through its paces, see what it can deliver with some challenging light. And it's good to shoot on this rather than the R7, because the R7 with that crop sensor, I want the full frame, I want that field of view, obviously reduced slightly with the being a zoom lens as well. So I want to test it out with the R3. It's got the base plate fitted there, so I've got the tripod so we can do a bit of video work and see what that's like with video too. And just a quick one, guys, you know, it isn't an L lens. Now, I didn't really look into this lens much, thinking because it's this colour, it was an L lens, but clearly at the price point, the 100-500 is more expensive than this one. It doesn't have the red band on, so it's not L for luxury, but it has the colour. So mistakenly me thinking that it was an L lens, but it's not. But that doesn't really matter. The optics are great. I think it's based on like a DO lens. And, you know, it lacks probably all the weatherproofing, etc., that some of the L lenses do. But certainly with that massive zoom range, very smooth motion too. A bit clunky at the end because I'm a bit nice and smooth. Going to give it a go and see how we get on. I've got this lens only, so I'm going to see what happens. It's got the focus distance, I think, with this lens. So it's 2.62 feet at the minimum, I think. So that's not too bad. We'll have to see acid to infinity or 10.83 feet to infinity. So yeah, that's at the different zoom ends, I guess. But sun's coming up now. Going to head on down the track, ditch the bike, and let's see if we can get some birds. So I know I always seem to concentrate on merlins, but it's not really out of design, it's more by luck. We've got 2 merlins actively hunting here, but they're against each other and they're kind of competing for territory. I think a lot of the merlins that are here, that come here to breed, do leave in the winter. But there's also ones, the resident ones, that hang around. And that's what I think it is here. Maybe it's one that's, or 2, that are trying to compete for this territory. There's a lot of small bird species here, which make that ideal for them to hunt. Obviously those dragonflies are now gone, so they're going to concentrate on birds. And Going to get this tripod set up now for a bit of video. They've been perching in the trees over there, so I want to see what this this 200 to 800's like. I've got a few shots of them. They were actually chasing each other into a tree, but God knows if it's in focus or not. I don't think it is. I think the shutter speed was a bit low. I only had it about 1/800th of a second, so I don't think it was fast enough, but still might get a blurred shot just to make out what they are. But they look quite dark, so I think there could be a nice male Merlin, but we'll see. There's plenty of thrushes around as well. The American robin, which is effectively an orange-breasted thrush. It's not a robin. It's exactly a thrush. But yeah, let's hope that they come back. They've been in this area now 3 times, so there's a good indication that they will be back. So I'm going to get this set up on the tripod and see if we can get some video. So I've got it set up on the tripod now, and I really like how it's well balanced with the zoom at max range. It's sitting on the E7HS by PhotoPro, the gimbal head, which is a nice small gimbal head, and it's on the Pantor T1 Plus tripod. So really quite a nice balance there. And we've got these 2 Merlins now hunting and actively chasing each other off, and they've been in this area, so we're hoping they're going to come back, and maybe we'll get some shots. There's lots of thrushes here. Lots of smaller bird species, there's finches, there's buntings, there's a lot going on now. As that sun's coming up, birds are starting to come out and adventure, so I'm really hoping that we get to test the lens out with a bit of video, see what it's like with its AF. You have got the difference there in the weight, as I said, and you know, the portability of the 1-5 is a lovely light outfit and great for a birder photographer on the go. Shoot from the hip, boom, with the 1-5 is beautiful. And this is a lot more weight, but is it too much? You got that extra 300mm reach, but you are shooting at f9. So today, even on the R3, which is a full frame, you're still having to you know, shoot at ISO quite high. It's now early morning, and I'm shooting at like 4000 ISO. So, you know, you are bumping it up a little bit, but the camera can handle that, so it's fine. But yeah, leave it on the tripod for a bit, see if we can do a bit of video from distance and test this lens out. Just having a bit of a mooch in the long grass here. Oh my God, it's long. It's like up to my waist. Just followed a little track and then nearly ended up in a gully. So yeah, got to go steady. There's quite a lot of jays about too, making a bit of a racket. Obviously busy at this time of the year. So I'm just going to head up the path a bit and see if we can pick out some small species. I was hardly expecting to see some waxwings today, but as yet I haven't really picked any up. A lovely berry tree here, which would be a great spot for them. There's not a bird on there. It's really quite amazing to think that only last week I was at Gatineau Park photographing the fall, and there was still a lot of leaf cover, and now it's literally, with the wind that came, gone. A lot of leaves have fallen now, with just a few hanging on. It's not going to be long before we have a lot of snow, and these trees will be covered in snow, and so will the landscape. So yeah, it's still pretty warm today though, so that's quite nice. Nice to get out while I can. And it's so quiet. There's nobody here but me, and it's beautiful, beautifully quiet. So I've had a good drive around, and it's been quite thin on the ground really. Chickadees, a few northern cardinals, and I've just come around the airfield, a very large expanse here, typically good for birds of prey. So that owls, falcons, hawks, a great spot for them to sit on the periphery, survey the wide open area and launch an attack from there. And we've got, I keep finding them, I've got a merlin nicely perched. You can see there we've got a nice merlin just perched on there. Fantastic birds, absolutely love them. So it's a lovely little perch there. There's not a lot of wind. Happy days. I'm hoping maybe that other merlin's still around and we might see a bit of confrontation there, a bit of behaviour. Not to a detriment of the birds, I hope, but still absolutely amazing to see. So as I expected, I'm really impressed with the AF on this. I've got quite a large rectangle area of focus, and I've got animal detection on, and it's picking out the eye straight away, or the head straight away. I haven't got eye detection on, but I've got animal detection, and it's on the bird's head. That's all I need to worry about. I've paused focus as well. I've got it running slow-mo at the moment in case it launches an attack and it takes off. Then it's not going to suddenly start to train and look for focus as it comes back in and lands. So pausing focus is great. Then allows you just to keep that position there, and I'm at f9, so you know that's the best I could do at 800, and I'm hoping that the bird may launch an attack, come back round, land on the post, and we get a nice bit of slow-mo as it's coming in. Light's coming up, but it's not too bad. There's a little bit of haze in the sky, so it's making it a little bit better, and it's not such a bright, sort of blown out bird at the moment. It's not doing a lot, it's just doing a bit of preening and cleaning, but fantastic to see it. One thing as well about running some video at the moment is the slightest movement on that lens, because it protrudes quite a way out, and I haven't got a extended arm with a roller on the end just to give that barrel stability. If it was windy today, it would be vibrating all over the place. But at the moment, as soon as you touch the camera, it's just constantly like that. So it's got to be aware really with a long lens like this. I think the Merlin's just spotted some small bird species over the airport. Yeah, it's having a bit of a look. Hard to judge what the bird is. It looks like maybe a female. I haven't really seen its back. That's just got to be bear in mind if you just suddenly just knock the tripod. Massive vibrations right through. Let's hopefully we can see it hunt though, and maybe pick up a bird, which would be great, because it's likely to take it back to either the perch there, or it may feed on the ground, as they sometimes do. But I've never seen, since I've been in Canada, I've not seen a merlin on the ground with a kill. They're usually up in a tree or a vantage point where they can feed and see what's coming around them. I know at home, on airfields notoriously, because there is nowhere to perch generally, they usually feed on the ground and they've got a space around them so they can see anything coming. All else fails, all I see is a merlin today. Happy days. Just want to run a little bit of video, get a little bit of slow-mo, and then hopefully just sit, wait, and maybe we can get some airborne shots of it going in, doing a bit of hunting. So that was fantastic there with the merlin, unbelievable. It's a beautiful male. So with the AF on this, on the bird, on a post, at distance, close up, the AF was all over it, on the head, every time. no problem whatsoever. So fantastic, no searching, no nothing, absolutely on the money, brilliant. And even when it launched, it kept focus as I was tracking it off as it was going low. Even with clutter in the background, it was still really, really doing well on the old tracking. The only thing I did find quite hard is as I was holding the lens up, training on the bird, waiting for it to launch itself from the high post, is that the weight. I was shaking quite a bit. The old lactic acid build-up in my arms was causing me a little bit of discomfort there. But bearing in mind, guys, this is 2 kilograms in weight, the 200 to 800, and the 100 to 500 is 1,365 grams. So, you know, you've got a little bit more weight there. Not quite half, obviously, but still considerably more weight. So you do get that sort of shake a little bit. But all in all, it was pretty good. You know, it's manageable, but it is a lot heavier, and it feels a lot heavier and bulkier than the 100 to 500. But you've got that extra 300 reach, which is absolutely marvelous. I'm not sure what the images are like, obviously. They look pretty good on the back screen. Got the light that side, illuminating them a little bit. So we'll just have to see, but you can see the bluiness on the back of the Merlin as well, which is fantastic. So it's just gone off now into the airfield area now, and it's now sort of perched up on one of the old planes there. So might just leave that one be and then head off into the forest and see if we can find some smaller species to photograph. Awesome though, absolutely cracking that was, just to see it like that up close, doing its thing, hunting, amazing. Anyway, right, let's get in the forest. So I'm just going to head down on the water now just to see if we can see any waders and maybe some duck on the water. Leave that Merlin be now. It's actively hunting over the airfield still, so it's going to leave it be and maybe pop back on the way. Give it an hour down there, have a look, see if we can photograph something a little bit different, a bit more challenging maybe for the lens, but you know, to see the Merlin hunting there was great, and this is going to be a fantastic spot for owls. Long-eared, short-eared, snowy, great grey maybe, other owl species, you know, it's going to be awesome hopefully. But I think it just needs to be a little bit colder now. It's a very warm day today, and as it gets colder and colder, those birds up north will push down further south to here, and hopefully we'll be in for an absolute treat. But let's just head down to the river and have a look. So far for a morning, just testing the 200 to 800 out, really impressed actually. Focus is real good, real snappy, it's not laboured. I don't get much lens creep either when I'm moving around, although you can tighten it up. You sometimes do get lens creep when it just starts to drop down. Hasn't got an awful lot of that, which is really good. So all in all, really, what a great lens. And I'm really glad I had it with me today, you know, with the Merlin at distance like I had. With the video, it wouldn't be quite the same if I didn't have that reach. Haven't tried it on the R7 yet. With that, you've got the extended reach, but obviously then in low light and things like that, you're pushing that up. The ISO on the R7 can be a little bit tricky because of that crop sensor, and obviously on the R3 with being a full frame, it's a lot more forgiving as well, and you can shoot much higher ISO as well. So, but as a combo, what a great outfit. Yeah, a little bit heavy when I was holding it for long periods of time there, waiting for that Merlin to launch from the top of the dead tree. Managed to get a couple shots there, a few a little bit soft. I didn't have a lot of room to move, there was a lot of clutter, but still I think I managed to nail a couple shots, shooting about 2,500 per second at f9 with a shutter speed like that. It should be pretty sharp. But yeah, really nice. And I'm just going to chill out here on the river for a bit and just take it easy. all in all, it's been a fantastic morning. It really has. It's lovely to get out, but it is so quiet now. You know, those bird species, there's berries everywhere. There's a few insects about today. There's seed heads everywhere. And not a lot of birds. Really is so quiet. I'm hoping we do get a few more winter species coming in. Otherwise, it's going to be real hard work with the old YouTube videos. But I'm hoping maybe we're going to see a beaver along the water here. There's a beaver lodge not far from here, so I might whip down there and see if it's active. Being you know, later hours in the day now, they're out all time stocking up for the winter, for the larder. So there may be a chance of seeing the beaver, I hope. But still going to keep going a little bit longer and see if we can see anything else. There's been a few different hawk species seen recently locally as well. So that would be real nice. There's been a red-tailed hawk as well, which I've missed since I moved here. Haven't seen an awful lot of those. That would be nice. There was a red-shouldered hawk, I think there is here as well, which has been seen. So that would be really, really nice too. But so far, the 200 to 800 has been a great lens. Holding it like this, short periods of time, great. Still a bit of a glass, bit of a weight there, 2 kilograms. You know, it's hefty, but with that sort of reach, pretty damn good. And I can't wait to see what the image is like at home. I'm really hoping they're half decent, because I have shot with my RF 800 f11, and as much as they are okay, sometimes they can be a little bit soft and they lack the detail. So I'm hoping that this lens is going to prove me wrong and we get some cracking images. So what I do like about this lens actually, which is quite good and often sometimes a bit of a problematic thing when you've got a slightly cheaper lens maybe, is the minimum focus distance. And at 200 at the moment I'm shooting, there's an old little sapling coming up there with a few berries on, and it's at 200 it's 2.62 feet minimum focus distance, which isn't really that bad, which is pretty good. But if you whack it out to, you know, full on 800 millimeters, so you're whacking it right out, you're getting 10.83 feet, so that's quite considerably different, but still not really a deal breaker there. I mean, it's still getting very, very close. You know, if a sparrow had come in here now, I've got literally the seed head there, and I'm getting a full frame shot of the bird. So really, you know, that minimum focus distance and that maximum, obviously there's difference on incremental, so 200, 400, 600, 800, but that's the top end and bottom end, and that's really, you know, quite good to work with. So, and as a lens goes, you know, that's not bad. That's not bad. Lens of old, you know, you'd have to be the RF 800 f11. You've got to be a considerable distance away. So really, really good. I hope you can hear this, guys. Got a lot of chickadee activity in here. Flurry of them going around in flocks. Absolutely wonderful. And they're feeding on the old dead seed heads here. I must admit, I did find the focus being a bit tricky amongst the seed heads, but that generally is quite difficult, especially when there's a lot of clutter. And I'm now finding the weight of the lens quite hard on my arms. And I'm a relatively strong chap. But, oh, the chickadee just flew over my shoulder then. And yeah, I'm finding it quite hard on my arms now, which I don't generally find with the 100 to 500, you know, which is considerably less in weight. So sort of like 0.7 kilograms, which is quite different. In fact, there's one just in here now. So this is quite nice here. It's nice to focus on some of the smaller bird species in amongst here, and actually found that 800 was far too much. So I banged it down to about 350 at this close range, and it's all over the focus of the bird's eye, so amazing. there's a hive of activity in here now, so I'm going to spend 5 minutes here and hopefully get some decent shots. So I hope you enjoyed that short trip out this morning, just testing out the Canon RF 200 to 800, f6.3 to f9. To be honest, you know, I've been out with it this morning for probably about 4 hours. Obviously, I never got to test it in a low light situation, so early morning and late in the evening. I'd imagine there'll be a slight difference there than using it in the light of the day, but I aim on doing a little bit more testing with that. But this is just initial look about this lens and how I think it performed. Get home, have a look at the images, have a look at the video, see what it's like for detail, the sharpness, from edge to edge, etc. Just having a look at that bokeh effect as well with some of the other pictures I've taken at f9, fully out at 800. But the question is, at the end of the day, you know, you go out, use a lens for a morning, I can get a feel for it pretty much straight away. Would I buy this lens? Absolutely, I would at the price it's pitched at. Here in Canada, this is about $2,400, so it's about 1,450 UK pounds. I think in the UK it's about 2,400 pounds, so about £1 cheaper here. So would I buy it here? Yes, I would. And as I said, I did order it, but then cancelled it due to the finance at the time. I'd love to buy this lens, and I think possibly when I go to Costa Rica for my bird photography tour in January, I may well purchase this lens to take with me and use it as my go-to lens while I'm there. I want to travel light, and having that focal range from 200 to 800 is pretty damn good. But I'm gonna have a look at the images when I get back and kind of have a think about it then. But all in all, really pleased. It's a lovely lens. IS is really good as well. It was tracking particularly good, locking on the subject, locking on the eye, really good. It wasn't training too much. Overall, on the R3, I was well happy. It's not an L lens, but you know, it feels great. I did struggle with the weight a little, to be fair, holding that for long periods of time, and even for short periods after I held it for the Merlin for quite a while. I was just taking pictures of some chickadees, and my arms did feel pretty tired, and I started to get a bit of shake, so I did find that a little bit uncomfortable. But all in all, a great lens, and it was great to get out with it, and I aim to test it early morning and late in the evening in a low light situation to see how we get on. The harsh light of the day is kicking in, so it always gives your pictures that washed out effect, and it's never ideal. But I've really enjoyed it. And for those who don't subscribe to the channel and are watching for the first time, please, if you want to follow my journey here in Canada, click that all important subscribe button, click that bell to be notified of any new video releases, and a like and a comment are very much appreciated and really do help me, and I love engaging with you all there as well. And for my regulars, thanks very much indeed again for following along. It's great to have you on board. So guys, I've got a buy me a coffee page linked below. If you feel that you think I've deserved it, you could buy me a tea or coffee below. A small one-off donation there just to buy me a brew. I always really appreciate it, and I do buy a brew, and I do think about the individual who's bought it for me as well. And I always put my thanks at the end of the video when I do so. But from me, and another beautiful weather day here in Canada, I'll see you all next time.